So what we're going to do is we're here to expose it, let people tell their story, and let everybody in the public see the horrors of the court system in Suffolk County, New York.
Long Island Backstory. Long Island's news alternative to the Newsday Cablevision news monopoly. With Chief Correspondent Gary Jacobs.
Hi, I'm Gary Jacobs, and welcome to another edition of Long Island Backstory, where we film at the Cablevision Studios in Hauppauge, New York. Today, my guest is Andrew Herzman, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin, something that I'm very interested in, but I seem to not be able to grasp the whole concept of Bitcoin. So I actually Googled it before I came to the show today, to the studio, and I still don't understand it. And I know that we've spoken about Bitcoin before, and you seem to understand it. So today, for everybody who's looking, give me the dumbed down version of what is Bitcoin.
Okay, well, I'm not really an expert at it, but I'm a frequent user of Bitcoin. So okay. I know a lot about it, but I don't know like everything about it. But basically, it's just another form of currency. So, you know, we have the US dollar, we have the Japanese yen, we have the European euro. This is an electronic version of a currency. So there's no real tangible thing that you can hold. But it's sort of like when you purchase something with a credit card or a debit card. I mean, you're not holding any cash there either. It's all electronic. Right. So this is just another electronic form of money, and it's been around almost 10 years now. So it's actually legitimate. It fluctuates now between between $300 and $400 for each Bitcoin. So it's actually has its real value.
So, but when I think of Bitcoin, yeah. And I say, okay, somebody just woke up one day and said, this pen is now currency. So. Okay. Why, if a Bitcoin, why can't you wake up and say tomorrow, or I wake up and say, okay, this is Jacob's currency, and you can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's worth $300?
Well, if you think about what money is, I mean, all this is paper with green ink on it, right? Right. And nothing, right? It used to be backed by gold, but it's not even backed by gold anymore. So,
but isn't it backed by the government?
Well, you can kind of
say that. The Treasury backs it?
Well, you know, but they don't have any tangible things, right. Really covering.
And I guess a check isn't really...
Yeah, a check's just a promissory note. It's like, I promise to pay you, right. And it could be... But the funny part is Bitcoin, it has so many advantages to regular money because it could be transferred instantly. You don't need, a middle person or a bank.
So is it like PayPal?
It's sort of like a PayPal, but there's no middleman. So there's no, like PayPal, they get a chunk of your money. Right. There's no fees. There's no banks involved. It's just, it's just like cash. If I gave you money, there's nobody in between. Right. It's just, but it's
who manages? Does somebody have to manage it?
No, that's the great part about it.
It's just out there now.
Yeah, and the people who say, oh, they love free market. Well, this is it. This is it. There's nobody manipulating it. There's no banks touching it. There's nobody, forcing it, or there's no Federal Reserve trying to boost the value of it or bring it down. It's just pure, free market, which is amazing because that's really what people are looking for.
So is there like, how do you know what is it? Like, how many Bitcoins are out there, and how do you know that you own it?
Okay, those are good questions. Well, there's three ways of holding on to Bitcoin. Okay, there's two types of electronic wallets, and then there's a thing called a paper wallet. So the electronic wallet is it's just a program you put on your computer, and when you get a Bitcoin, you get it's like an account number, basically, a big long number, and someone sends you a Bitcoin or part of a Bitcoin to that account number, and it will show up in your wallet. Okay. You can have the wallet directly on your computer, or you can have a third party, online, be the wallet for you, and that works also. But now you have again a third party involved, and some people aren't comfortable with that.
How do you know that number? Why can't I just make up? How do I if I see your number now? You know the number,
right?
So why can't you just say, hey, here's the number of the Bitcoin, but you're really not?
Okay. Well, if you have an account number, like a checking account, you don't mind people knowing your checking account number because as long as they can't take money out of it, if they want to deposit, you don't mind that, right? Right. And so I don't mind people knowing my Bitcoin wallet number because all they can do is deposit money into it.
So your Bitcoin you have a wallet number, but does each Bitcoin have a number?
Yeah, well, it's a digital encrypted number, and every time a transaction takes place, there's a thing called the blockchain, which is just a registry of every transaction that ever happened in Bitcoin. And that's what's great about it, because it's really a public registry. So everybody has a copy of that registry. Every time you make a transaction, you add to that blockchain, and then you get another copy of it on your computer, and it gets synced up to every computer in the world who's using Bitcoin. So everybody has a copy of the same registry.
Okay.
And it matches up. And
so you can't steal a Bitcoin?
The only way to steal Bitcoin is if you actually stole someone's password or some way to get into their account. Yeah. But that's the same with anything. If I got into your bank account with a password, I can do the same thing. So it's just as safe, if not safer. Okay. Because
but could you go to the police and say, hey, somebody stole my Bitcoin? Or they'd be like, hey, what the heck's a Bitcoin?
Yeah,
show me, what did they steal? I don't know. Could somebody break into your house, go into your computer?
I mean, and theoretically they could, sure. But somebody can break into your house and steal your gold or your cash or whatever.
I just can't imagine like somebody going to the police and saying, hey, they stole my Bitcoins.
Well,
what does that mean?
It means they stole your money, basically. The same thing as if they stole your gold.
But money is recognized by the government. Does the government recognize Bitcoin?
The IRS says, well, see, they have a problem with it because they can't control it.
Right.
So they came out and declared it a commodity instead of a currency, because they can't tax it.
Right.
They have no control over it. So in a way, they're kind of stuck. They have to just pretend that they're deciding to make it a commodity, but they have no choice really. They can't
stop it.
They can't stop it, which is also amazing.
Is it a bar? I mean, is it like a barter system though?
No, it's a real currency.
So how do you get the first one? You send somebody $300. You said they're worth $300 per.
Yeah, so you don't have to get a full coin. You can get a fraction of a coin, whatever. So
but how do you get it?
Well, there's you could work for them, right? Let's say you have a job or a business and you accept
people pay in Bitcoin.
Sure, all the time. Well, it's amazing. Or you can you could actually go on an exchange and buy them. There are companies that will transfer dollars and convert them.
I just had a thought. I'm just waiting to see how long it takes before the Child Support Enforcement Unit in New York State decides that they're going to start taking a percentage of people's Bitcoin for child support.
Well, that's the beauty of it. They can't, and the IRS can't tax it. No one can touch it.
Okay.
And that's what I love about it, because it really, if everybody in this country suddenly started using Bitcoin, we'd get rid of the IRS. We'd get rid of this Federal Reserve. We'd have complete control over our own money. The government wouldn't have a say in it whatsoever.
But can they see it?
They could get a copy of the blockchain,
right?
But all that shows is the account numbers and the transactions taking place. They don't really know who owns which account.
So is this an investment, or does this this is always worth $300?
No, the value of a Bitcoin goes up and down.
Based on what?
Free market. Free market's great.
So is there only so many, or do they do it like the government, where they put in money into the?
Well, there's so many right now, and what they do is it's called mining. Okay, it's a word that the computer nerds use. Basically, what they do is they have a special program that runs on their computer, and what it really does is verifies every transaction that takes place. Now, a normal bank would do that on their own computer, but since Bitcoin doesn't have a central area or a bank that does that, they rely on these miners to do this. So in return, the miners actually get some Bitcoin, as a payment for doing this work on their computer, because it costs electricity. And it works pretty well, because everybody's out there mining these coins. They're getting new ones, and in return, they're verifying every transaction that takes place. So it's completely safe, because you can't fool the system, because you got millions of computers around the world verifying these transactions, and the only way to fool it is to have one computer that's more powerful than millions of computers around the world, which is virtually impossible.
So, I mean, it sounds to me like this would be created or be good for people who are doing illegal activity. I mean, is this used for drugs?
Is cash. Yeah.
Well, except for cash, you could look at the serial numbers, and you could grab the person and go under their mattress and steal the,
Right.
Is this used for international?
It is, to a degree. I mean, some people, you could take anything and use it for.
But why would you use this not to cut you off, but why would you use this instead of money?
Well, there's a lot of great things. First of all, there's no fees. So you know how credit cards have fees? If I had a business, I would love to do business with Bitcoin. There's no fees involved. I'd be saving tons of money.
But there's no insurance.
There's no insurance, but I can get transactions from anywhere in the world, No transaction fees whatsoever. No, I don't have to do conversions, from euros to dollars or whatever. It's all Bitcoin. It's a great system because it's instantaneous. You don't have to wait for anything to clear. There's no fees. There's no government involved. Nobody's taking money out for taxes and the government they don't have access to it.
I wonder if somebody, you said they don't recognize it as a currency. So let's say I work for you full time, 40 hours a week, and you say, you know what, I love Bitcoins, Gary. I'm going to pay you in Bitcoins.
Okay.
And I go to file my taxes. Do I make nothing?
It's up to you if you want.
If they don't consider it,
right?
I guess it's compensation.
It is, but let's say I paid you in gold. It's sort of almost the same thing because gold is a commodity.
Right.
So, do you declare the gold? I mean, it has value unless you actually take the gold and turn it back into dollars. Then you have an income.
Right.
So, theoretically, no, you don't have to declare that. So it's pretty interesting how that works, because, like I said, if everybody in the country used it, you wouldn't need an IRS anymore. No one would be really paying taxes, So it's kind of, I'm surprised more businesses don't actually grab onto this because of just the fact that there's no fees.
So could you pay for something in a store with a Bitcoin?
If they accept it, sure.
And how do you do it?
It's very simple. Anybody can get a wallet, which is completely free. You go to like bitcoin.com and you sign up for a wallet, and they assign you, one of those wallet numbers. And you don't have to just stick with that one. I mean, it's free, so you can have unlimited amount of wallets. If for every transaction that comes in, you want to have a different wallet, be safe that way, sure. That's fine. And it's completely free, so the money comes in, you have, your registry, it shows what amount of Bitcoin you have in your account.
Does it equate it to dollars?
Well, again, if you want to convert your Bitcoin back into dollars, sure, you can do that. There are, you can go to financial brokers or whatever, and they'll buy your Bitcoin and give you cash for it. So, sure, that shows you how much value it really does have. And the fact that major companies now are using it, we got everything from Virgin Airlines to so a lot of major online companies are actually accepting Bitcoin as payment.
Right.
I think Dell Computer is one of them. There's you can even buy anything off of Amazon now
using Bitcoin.
Using Bitcoin.
Really?
And it's a company that's called purse.com. And what's nice with them is they'll give you up to 30 or even 50% discount for using Bitcoin.
Really? Why do they want the Bitcoin so bad?
Well, there's a lot of people who want to buy Bitcoin, and they would rather buy it directly from you than go through a broker. And so basically what they're doing is you put the money out to buy something off of Amazon, and then they'll buy your Bitcoin, and Amazon will get that cash and use it. It's sort of like a workaround.
Wow.
But it's pretty amazing because if you're saving 30% or more, on Amazon products, which are already cheap, I mean, you can't go wrong,
So do people have like thousands of dollars of value of Bitcoin in the bank?
Yeah, well, actually they do. I mean, some people, they invest in it.
But it doesn't grow though. I mean, does it?
Well, since there's a certain amount of Bitcoin out there, believe it or not, it's great because it's not like the Federal Reserve where they just keep printing money. Every time, they need money, they're going to print it. With Bitcoin, it's only how many miners are out there, and there is going to be a limit. I think it's about halfway through with the mining. Once that's done, it's over, and there won't be any more Bitcoin in circulation. So that makes it actually inflation-proof, because.
But inflation-proof, but it won't grow though either. Right?
Oh, sure, because it'll become more rare, right? Okay. Because if you're not making any more, they become more and more rare, and then the value goes up, which is fantastic because if you are an investor and you put money into Bitcoin and there's no more left, and people are still wanting them, the demand is there. Sure, the value will keep going up.
Right.
So in a way, it's not inflation; it's deflation because now your money is becoming more valuable all the time. So instead of being less value like the dollar does, and it's a great way to invest money and save it. I mean, of course it has some dangers, because it does go up and down. But when Bitcoin first started, I heard like it would cost like $1,000 for a pizza. When it first came out, because there was no demand for it, nobody knew what it was, And the highest it's ever gotten so far, I think it was $1,200 for one Bitcoin.
Wow.
So
And you said it's 300 now?
now it's about 300 or 400. Yeah, it goes up and down.
So really, but that seems like it fluctuates more than the dollar, though.
Well, it used to fluctuate wildly, and it's starting to calm down now. So that's why I say it's getting more and more safe as it goes along. You know, people at first said, "Oh, it's so volatile,"
Right.
because it jumps all over the place. But that was because, again, a lot of people didn't know about it, and a lot of things in the world would trigger it to go up and down. But now it's, if it stays within the $300-400 range, I mean that's kind of pretty stable compared to jumping up and down thousands of dollars.
Right.
So it's as time goes on and more people realize what this currency is and what it can do, and it becomes more stable and more people value it more, basically.
So are other countries using it?
Oh yeah, almost every country uses it except there are countries that.
I think China probably won't allow it.
Well, yeah, but they're the biggest miners of all things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the government of China has thousands of computers mining these bitcoins, and what hypocrites! They don't let their own citizens use it, but they know the value of it. They're grabbing them,
Right. Wow, that's interesting.
But there's countries like Venezuela whose currency is they have out of control inflation right now. And the citizens, they're using Bitcoin because, it's a black market to them. That's the only way they could survive.
Right.
So it serves its purpose in a lot of places, yeah.
So you recommend people as part of their portfolio, or?
Well, it is, again, I'm not a broker. I'm not telling people it's what to do, but I would.
Like, why would you use it?
Well, again, 30% off of.
Right, so it's like a nice coupon.
Yeah, Amazon, because Amazon you can almost buy anything anyway. You can even buy food and certain foods and things. So that right there, it's worth it. But I just love the fact that there's no fees. There's no way.
Right, and this is also, I see people who just don't like the government knowing what's going on.
Well, sure. Well, let's say you have all your money. Well, not all of it. A chunk of money in Bitcoin, right? And all of a sudden you get sued for child support or something. They don't know you have those Bitcoins.
Right.
Nobody knows they exist. The government can't go in and snatch it out of their.
They can't seize
They
your
can't
Bitcoin.
seize it. No one can touch it except you, and that's great because it's your money. Why should the government? Having a bank account is more dangerous than having Bitcoin because the government has access to your accounts and they can seize your money. They can if for tax reasons or whatever. You don't really have freedom in this country when it comes to money. The government really controls all that. And that's really why we are all, to me, I think we're all enslaved with money because, we depend on that. And we don't, up until now, we didn't really have an alternative. We had to use, what the government provided. And sure, they're a little upset about it now. I'm sure,
But just going back to the payment. So if you go to a store, though, I understand in Amazon because it's really all electronic.
Right.
But if you go to a store, how do you make that transfer to the store?
Yeah,
they have a wallet, but how do you get it to the?
Yeah, well, it can, if they have a computer or a smartphone, you can have an app for it, and all you have to do is you go, oh, what's your wallet number? And usually they have like a barcode, so you don't have to type all those numbers in, and you just scan the barcode. You type in how many Bitcoin you want to transfer, and you hit boom, instantaneously.
So it's more like an Apple Pay.
Yeah, they can verify it right on their phone instantly, and boom, it's done.
It's done,
and it's fantastic because it's.
How are they going to do returns? I guess.
They'll just send it back to your wallet. I mean, it's like you bring back the thing, and it's just like cash. They'll give you the cash back.
So nobody makes money on this as far as an agency. There's
no. That's what's great.
So why'd somebody create it? Just to be a nice guy?
Well, they don't know the person who really did it because he's staying anonymous. And
wasn't it a Japanese guy or something?
Well, he used a Japanese name, but no one even knows if he really is Japanese.
Really?
It's very top secret because he just revolutionized the whole world basically with money. So I guess if they found out who he was, there would be a lot of turmoil. He'd probably get in trouble somehow. The government,
he'd be famous.
Well, he would be, but he knows the government has total control
Power,
of him, and they can.
I'm sure, and like you said, the government's not going to like this.
No, well, they don't like it. Matter of fact, what bothers me, New York State was, I think, just recently they were the first state in the union to start regulating Bitcoin, and they came up with all these 100 pages of rules for a business to use Bitcoin in New York State. Now, this is the Empire State, all right? It was supposed to be the financial capital of the world, and they're making it next to impossible for a business to use Bitcoin. And they should be ashamed of themselves because it's like, They should be on top of it. They should be the first ones to embrace this and make it.
Well, except for it's not going to. They killed the golden goose.
Well, in a way, it did, but they could use it to their advantage too. I think there's a lot of ways.
If there's a way to tax it, they're going to figure it out.
Well, there's none way. There's no way of that unless
if there is, they're going to figure it out, Andy.
Well, it's been around for almost 10 years, and they haven't done
figured it out yet.
And that's how secure it really is. I mean, there's just no way. If they, do you think the IRS would have found out a way by now? And no, they can't touch it. They can't do anything about it. And I kind of like that idea. I think it gives everybody a little bit more freedom.
Well, it gives you a little bit of power too.
Sure. I mean, we're citizens. We work for our money.
Right.
I mean, why not? I mean, I don't understand why the government needs to control everything in our lives. You know, just like that they want to do not to get off topic, but they want to break into that Apple iPhone and because every time they can't control something, they go crazy, right? They just they have to have control over everything, and why? It doesn't.
Well, we understand why they want to, but you don't understand why we don't want to. And right now, and like you said, with the world, with everything, with the computers, everything could be controlled by the government. This is something that they can't. It's sort of a little bit refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing because again, it's all free market. I mean, I think it's more people if they knew about it.
Well, it's confusing a little bit too, I think.
I don't see why though. I really don't.
Well, he said once you start using it, it's probably not so bad.
Yeah, because people are so used to using electronic transfers now. They use the debit cards, they use the credit cards. I mean, if you took out your cell phone, or your smartphone, and you just scanned the barcode and made a transaction that way, it's just as simple. And again, it's like it gives you a peace of mind because no one's going to go in there and the government's not going to snatch your money no matter what they say you owe taxes. They can't take it. They can't touch it. It's awesome. I mean, again, I think if more people knew about it and embraced it and used it and got used to it, it would catch on pretty quick. I mean,
all right. Well, listen, we got this show. We're in 2016.
Yeah.
And you heard it right here. So if people come back and look at this show in 4 or 5 years, and everybody's paying with Bitcoin because the next generation is growing up with it.
Yeah, well, that's great.
So for us, it's a little bit harder. But a kid growing up, Bitcoin. Who cares? Bitcoin, dollar, nickel, quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares? It's Apple Pay, iPay.
Oh yeah, there's hot dog stands that take them. You can go to Berlin and buy a bratwurst for. You can go to New Hampshire.
As long as your phone doesn't crash, you're okay.
Well, that's a good point. You got to have your batteries charged,
but you need stronger batteries.
Exactly. But otherwise, no, I think it's exciting, and I think if more people should learn about it and at least give it a try. It doesn't cost anything.
Cool. Great. Andy, thank you very much for explaining it because like I said, I went into this and I just couldn't grasp this whole concept, but now it definitely makes a lot more sense.
Oh, absolutely.
To me.
Give it a try.
Great. I'm Gary Jacobs, and thank you for joining us at Long Island Backstory.
Following the tragic events of September 11th, there have been hundreds of violent attacks against innocent Americans.
Remember what that flag you're waving stands for.
Remember, please stop the hate.
We're stronger when we are united.
Remember
what that flag you're waving stands for.
One nation under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty
And justice.
For all.
in America, there's either room for everyone or it's not America. Don't pick the wrong fight.
Let's keep America land of the free.
Stop the hate.
Think being a big brother means taking time out of your schedule to tutor a kid in algebra? Think again. To learn more about becoming a big brother or big sister, call 1-888-412-BIGGS.
Come on, David. Come on, David. Let's go, David. Come on.
Come on, David. You got the love.
Get as involved in your kids' education as in everything they do, and imagine the success they might find. Stay in touch with the teacher. Visit the school. For more tips, call 1-800-281-1313.
Good, David. Good, David.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
The danger dog will bite your ankle. The danger dog will bite your ear. The danger dog will bite your bottom if you come near. That's the danger dog. Dog.
Want to feel appreciated? When you spend time with kids, anytime, it helps prevent crime.
Think being a big sister means you have to spend all day stuck in a library? Think again. To learn more about becoming a big brother or big sister, call 1-888-412-BIGGS.